What's going on YouTube? CloverBells here, back with another VGC Fundamentals video, and today we're going to be looking at how to use the damage calculator to account for damage calcs in creating an EV spread, right? So again, this is one of those teaching videos where if you're a new player or an upcoming VGC player and you're just trying to figure out how to play the game, this is one of those videos that's for you. And if you're someone who's already well seasoned and is already experienced in the game, then this is something that you already know already, but maybe you might learn a thing or two in some of these videos. But if you remember from our previous fundamental series, when we talked about EV spreads, what did we talk about? We talked about speed tiers, we talked about stat bonuses and stat drops, and then we talked about optimization of your HP stat, right? And then now what we're going to do is put all of that together and now account for what we call a damage calc, which can affect your EV spread as a whole. So you might go for optimization in the beginning, but then as you play games, right, and as you get experience with the team, you find that certain things are just KOing you, or you're not picking up KOs against certain things, and then you have to do what's called a defensive calc and an offensive calc kind of thing, and then you have to change your EV spread just a little bit, and you might have to forego optimization in exchange for living certain things, right? And that's just something that all players have to do, right? You can't just have everything go to an EV bump and optimize HP for this and then say, okay, I'm done. I mean, that might work for ladder, but in terms of trying to compete in a best of 3 tournament, then you have to optimize a little bit more with the EV spread based on what we call a damage calc. My camera just moved a little bit. I think I'm gonna adjust it just a little bit over here like this. Okay, there we go. Now that's a little better. All right, so but the first thing that we're gonna do is look at this website called Pokemon Damage Calculator. And again, I've been asked this before, if I could do a video on explaining how to use this website. And people have said, oh, they've seen it before, but they just don't know how it works, and they're intimidated by all the numbers and all the buttons and stuff like that. And I understand that, but again, that's no excuse, right? Because if you don't know how to do something, or if you're not sure how it works, you ask for help and you ask someone to explain it to you. And I guess that's the purpose of this video. So what we're going to do first is, before we show you examples of EV spreads accounting for damage calcs, I'm just going to go through a quick general rundown on how to use this website, because again, if you're trying to play competitive Pokemon, you got to know how to use a damage calculator, right? Because all the good VGC players know how to use this website. So now I'm going to show you just a general rundown on how to use this. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so the first thing that I want to point out here is again over here where it says Pokemon 1 and Pokemon 2. So basically Pokemon 1 is just let's say it's your own Pokemon, right? And then here you take a look at the stats, right? The HP, the attack, defense, special attack, special defense, and speed. Now over here is the level, and again you can adjust this to a level 50, based on of course it's VGC double, so of course it's going to be level 50. But you're going to be comparing your Pokemon with the opponent's Pokemon, right? Pokemon 2 is the Pokemon you're comparing against. All right. So how do we do this? So basically, let's say you want to do Kyogre. So what you do is you click a drop down menu here and you go to Kyogre here, and then if you have no spread uploaded, then you just go to what we call a blank set, and then it uploads Kyogre like this, right? And let's say you wanted to compare it to something like a Rillaboom, right? Then you go down to the drop down menu and you choose Pokemon 2 and you go to Rillaboom. And again, if you don't have a set uploaded already, we'll talk about what that means. You go to what's called a blank set over here, right? So before we even talk about EVs and IVs and whatnot, and abilities and stats and items, let's talk about the field. So here in the field, of course, you always want to make sure you have doubles clicked off here, just because this is VGC, right? If you want singles, you can click that. But again, if you have a spread move, spread moves do more damage in singles versus doubles, right? Because doubles, the damage is reduced, right? Because you're hitting 2 Pokemon instead of 1. So make sure you have that clicked. And then if you want to see certain attacks in certain terrain, like a psychic stat move in psychic terrain, Rillaboom's grassy glide in grassy terrain, or Regieleki's electric move in electric terrain, that's going to affect the damage that you see here. So then you click electric terrain. right? Then over here, the weather conditions. Is there sun? Is there rain? Is there sand? Or is there hail? You check that off. And again, the sun and the rain are the more important ones, right? Because that's going to boost up those fire moves and reduce water moves. And then the rain, vice versa, right? It'll boost those water type attacks, but also reduce the damage from those fire type attacks, right? And then from here, then you look at the left side. So the left side over here is the side that affects the Pokemon on the left, right? So let's say you clicked Reflect and Light Screen, right? Let's say if you want to make sure like, oh, Rillaboom clicking Grassy Glide, I want to see if I can live that with Reflect. Then you check off the Reflect icon over here, right? If this was something like Regieleki, so then you go and type in Regieleki and you find a blank set here. And then you want to see if you live a Regieleki attack, then you want, if you have a Grimmsnarl with clicking Light Screen, then you check off Light Screen and something like that, right? And then from here, let's say you have something like a Whimsicott that's clicking Helping Hand, Helping Hand for your Water Spout, you click that off. You don't really need to click Tailwind because then here in the speed you can just click +2 and then that'll give you the speed boost, right? Then what if you had a Clefairy on the team? Then you account for Friend Guard damage reduction, so you click off Friend Guard. Aurora Veil is the same as screens basically, and that's pretty much it, right? And then same thing over here. Now on the right side, same idea, but this is for the opponent side, right? Now back to Pokemon 1 over here. So now again you can choose the nature, the ability, the item, and the status, and then also the moves, right? Now again, this is a little tedious, right? Because you have to do everything one by one. I wish there was an easier way where we could just go on to Pokemon Showdown and just copy paste the spread and upload it here. There is. Okay, so let's go here into Pokemon Showdown. Let's just do a quick example here. Let's use Soul Survivor's Lunala spread and let's upload it, right? So here, if I click the stats, I see the EV spreads that I want, and this is what he has, right? So if I go to import/export over here, you can see that it automatically highlights the Pokemon itself and the spread and everything it has. So what I do is I click copy, all right, I right click and I click copy, and then I go to the damage calculator, and then down here there is an import export area where I can just simply Control V, and then now I can copy paste Soul Survivor's Lunala spread, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the import button, but I want to name it so this way if I upload other Lunala spreads, then I can differentiate between the two Lunala spreads in the future, right? So let's just call it S Series 12 Soul Survivor Lunala, right? And again, this is the Lunala that we used in the previous video. So if I click import, now it says Calc Showdown, successfully imported 1 set. So now what I do is I go to the drop down menu, I type Lunala, and now I can see here this one, right, where it says Caesar Series 12 Soul Lunala, Soul Survivor Lunala. I click that and boom, look at that, it just simply uploaded all the moves, all the item, the nature, and all the EVs perfectly, right? So that's very convenient. And if I wanted to compare this with like a Calyrex Shadow, which from a set that I've already uploaded, where is that? So let's just a standard Calyrex Shadow set like this. Okay, this one is from Series 11, with the Life Orb already. So something like this. Let's remove the terrain. Okay, and then now over here, this is where you go to the top part of the website and you start comparing damage versus damage, right? So if I click something like Astral Barrage here, I can see that the Astral Barrage from Calyrex has an 87.5% chance to OHKO my Lunala spread based on these EVs, right? And on the flip side, same thing, right? My Moongeist Beam has a 212% chance to OHKO Calyrex. That's because it's 4 times weak. So I can pretty much kill 2 Calyrex Shadows with this move, which is kind of funny, right? So that's how you use the damage calc in terms of setting it up, right? So try and do, and now there's no rule, right? If you want to put Pokemon 2 as your own Pokemon and Pokemon 1 as the opponent, you can do that too. It doesn't matter. All right, but that's the gist of how to use this website. It's very simple and it's very easy. There's no reason to get discouraged and not understand how to use this. You have to understand how to use this, right? So if there's still any questions on how to use this website and how to import and export EV spreads, ask in the comment section below. I'd be more than happy to answer it. But again, this is all like very basic fundamental things that you have to do as a team builder and look at when you're trying to play this game. So now, having explained this website and gave a very general brief rundown on how to use it, now we'll take a look at how to do some damage calcs into our EV spreads. All right, so let's take a look. Okay, so for our first example and trying to use damage calcs for our EV spreads is Palkia, right? So Palkia here, again, before you even do EV spreads, right, you always want to do like the items and the moves. So let's just go ahead and do something quick and standard. So Spatial Rend, right, Earth Power, Hydro Pump, okay, and Protect, right, something like this. Okay, and then from here, now you choose your Modest Nature, and now this is where you start to do your EV spreads, right? And again, we're always going to follow our rules that we set in the other VGC Fundamentals video. We always want to do our speed tier first, right? Because speed tier is the most important stat in competitive Pokemon. And then from there, we can go for our attacking stat, or in this case, our special attacking stat. And then from there, our leftover bulk, which will go into either the HP, defense, or special defense, or maybe all three, right? It all depends on what's left over, okay? And what we want to optimize. So we decide that for this Palkia, again, because it has Trick Room, why did I put Protect? I meant Trick Room. Okay, so we want this to be like a slow Palkia. We really don't need that much speed investment, so we're just going to put 1 point of speed in our speed stat, right? And then from here, maybe we want to optimize the Earth Power boost, from Max Quake. So we want an even number here, right? Because if we have an odd number, then it's not completely optimal. But again, with the 1.5 boost, you get a decimal, which will round it down. So instead, we just want to put 12 points here and just get a perfect whole number in getting that boost. And then from here, okay, you know what? I want my Palkia to hit pretty hard, so I'm just going to go to the third EV bump here, which is 236 special attack, right? You see at 228, I am at 218, and then I'm floating between 218 and 220, right? This is the third bump where it went by +2 stats, right? And again, if you don't know what EV bumps are, check out our video where we explain what EV bumps are, and you'll get the gist of that. Now from here, you see I have 256 EVs left to invest. So what I can do is I can just literally dump all my EVs into HP like this, and then 1 point in defense like this, right? Something like this as a starter. And you might say, oh, all right, my Palkia is ready to go, okay? And it might be, right? Because you did a couple things. You accounted for your speed tier, you went into your special attack stat, and then from there you just went into leftover bulk. And then you thought, okay, wait a minute, I want to optimize this life orb, chip damage, right? Because remember, with the life orb, you're losing 1/10 of your max HP per turn, okay? And again, the rule is with the HP stat, you always want to end in a 9, right? So this way you can optimize how much life orb chip damage you take per turn, right? And we've talked about this before, but let's go to 189 first. So again, 189 divided by 10, that's 18.9, which rounds down to 18, which is the amount of damage you would take per turn from life orb chip. If you break the threshold and you go to 190, all right, that is 190 divided by 10, that is 19 damage per turn that you would take from life orb chip. And again, if you were to max this, you're at 197, 19.7 divided by 10 is 19. I'm sorry, 197 divided by 10 is 19.7, which is still 19, right? So you're still taking 19 damage, right? So I want to break this threshold, right? So you go to 189 here, all right? And now you see, all right, I got 64 points of leftover EVs. Now maybe I can just add them into my defensive bulk, and now maybe I'm ready to go and use this Palkia on the ladder, right? And you might be. So then you remember, oh, wait, Zacian just one-shot me with a play rough. Well, then now let's look at that, and now let's adjust the spreads so this way we can account for surviving a Zacian play rough, right? So let's take a look, right? So now we'll go into the damage calculator. All right, so what I'm going to do first is, again, just like I showed in the introduction, I'm going to click the import export button. I'm going to click copy, and then I'm going to go down here, and then I'm going to click pace. And again, I'm not going to save it as Series 12 Soul Survivor Lunala. I want to change that, otherwise it's going to overwrite it. Let's do Series 12 Palkia, not coaching. Let's just say damage calc video, right? Just so that I know what this was for. Okay, I'm going to click import, and then I'm going to go to Palkia, and then I'm going to find this exact spread that I uploaded. All right, and here it is. Okay, and it very nicely uploaded everything for me, all nice and hunky-dory. I don't have to do anything one by one. And then over here, instead of Calyrex, of course, I want to change this to Zacian. And thankfully for me, I've already uploaded a standard Zacian spread, you know, just a jolly 252 spread. All right, and if you look at this, the play rough, yeah, it does one-shot me. All right, and unfortunately, that's not good. So now what we have to do is adjust our Palkia spread so that way we can survive this Zacian playoff, right? Because if we survive, we get the Trick Room up, and then we're in a good spot. But if we die, we don't get the Trick Room up, and then Zacian just runs through our entire team. But then we notice, okay, well, we have a way to help reduce Zacian's damage, right? We have an Incineroar with Intimidate. So what we can account for is, let's intimidate the Zacian first, all right, and then maybe we can survive the play rough. All right, and now this is a little bit more doable, right? Because now the damage is just 93 to 111%, and that is a 56% chance to OHKO. Well, that's okay, because now what I can do is, and I look at my special attacking stat, and I say, you know what, this is a lot of damage we're doing. I don't know if we need to deal all this damage, especially when Palkia is maxed. You know, base 150 is a lot. So what we can do is we can drop our EVs from our special attack and increase the defense, so that way we can get it to the point where we can survive the Zacian play rough after Intimidate. All right, so let's see how much we can drop, and let's see how much defense we need. And again, we want to leave the HP at 189, you know, just so that we keep it at that optimal number with the life orb reduction. Can I just go 252 and then left over into defensive bulk? I can, but I still want to keep this 188 number, right, for this reason. And you'll see why in a second when I show you both variations where I do 252 spread, and another one where, like this, where I just keep it as the life orb optimal chip. Okay, so let's take a look. So here, I'm going to increase defense until I can get this play rough damage down to the point where I can live it, all right? So I'm going to keep increasing this up arrow here in defense, and I'm getting close, right? You see right now it's only at a 12.5% chance. For some people, that's good enough, but we want to just get it a little bit more, you know, even to 6.3. This is okay. So now 6.3. Now, again, some people leave it like this, right? Because you've invested so much already in defense, you know, maybe you don't really need a perfect 100% KO, and that's fine. If you want to leave it like this, that's okay. So now what we do is let's go here and let's drop our special attack stat a little bit, and let's increase this to about 156 right here. Okay, so now I'm at 148, and again, I'm a little sad about this because I broke my optimization in my special attack. I dropped the bump so that I can live this play rough here. But then you might say, well, you know what you could do? You can just forget the special defense optimization and get your attack stat back, and now you're +2 in the special attack yet again with that EV investment, right? You see this? How you go from 207 to 209? All right, so that EV investment is important. So again, we can always do it like that. Oh, that's 5. Okay, and 156. Okay, so now again, now I've calced it. I've been able to live this Zacian play off after Intimidate while still keeping my HP as optimized. Now, if you're someone that says, you know what, that's not good enough, I want the guarantee survival from the player of Zacian, and I say, okay, if you want the guarantee, let's take a look at how much more we need. So if I keep pressing up, and there it is. All right, so now this is the guarantee 2-hit KO. Now this is 172 investment. All right, so again, what I have to do is I have to drop my special attack stat like this, and then get this to 172. And again, I'm a little sad about it because I broke my optimization for my special attack. You know, I don't hit the bump anymore, but in exchange, I get the calc that I need to survive the Zacian play rough. I get the Trick Room up, and then, you know, I can potentially KO it next turn after this, right? So that's a clear example of how we started with an EV spread. you know, maybe we played some showdown games. We saw that we got smashed by Zacian Play Rough, even after Intimidate. So what we did is we went back into the team builder. We put it into Pokemon Damage Calculator. We adjusted the spread. We played a little bit with the numbers so that we can get this calc and survive the attack from Zacian in this example, right? And this is what you have to do. Now, is there another way where you can do this? Do you need this exact precise spread to do that? The answer is no. You can do it another way, but you'll notice that the special attacking stat is going to be a little different, right? So let's say we wanted to take a little bit more and just go 252 into the HP stat, right? Let's say if we did this, oops. Okay, so now you're at 252 HP and you're at 108 defense. So let's take a look at this, right? We're at 252 and 108 defense, and then what's our special attack? 140. Okay, now this doesn't matter over here, but again, now you're back to 12.5%. So I need a little bit more, you know, investment in my defense to still live this attack. And this is why I did not like 252, right? Because now what I have to do is I have to drop my special attack stat even more, okay? And then now maybe I might be able to live. So let's take a look. How much more do I need? All right, so if I want to keep it at 6.3, I need 124. But if I want the guaranteed live, how much do I need? All right, 140 investment. So I need 140. Is this 140? Let's see. No, this is it. All right, so again, the same calc, right? I still live the play rough, but now look at this. I reduced my special attack even more. I had 206, but now I'm down to 202, right? That's 4 attack. Well, in this case, special attack, but you get what I mean. So why would I do this when I can get the same calc with the optimized HP value, a little bit more in defense, and have extra special attack? So you see the difference there, right? It's still the same defensive calc, but offensively, I'm a little bit weaker with this spread, right? So I'm going to rechange it back to what I had before, and back to 188, 156, and then now again 156. And again, if you want to drop it a little bit more, you know, for the guarantee survival against the Zacian Play Rough, this is it. So again, I can just put it back here, 188, 172, and 140, right? I believe that's what it was. Yeah, so this is it. So this is our Palkia that can survive the Zacian Play, right? That's how we do it, okay? Hopefully this makes sense. But again, you know, we want to do a couple more examples just to you know, make it, you know, repetitive, not repetitive, I would say, but make it a little bit more clearer, so that you understand, but at the same time not make the video too long, right? So let's look at another example. All right, let's look at one more example. Let's look at Kyogre stuff, right? So let's say you have a Kyogre here, and again, the main threats of Kyogre are grass type Pokemon like a Venusaur or Rillaboom, and then also electric type Pokemon like a Thundurus, a Regieleki, and a Zapdos, right? Especially when they're Dynamax and stuff like this. So what you were doing when you were building, you decided to give the Kyogre an Assault Vest, which is very nice, and then you give it moves like a Water Spout, Origin Pulse, Thunder to win the mirror, and something like Hyper Beam, right? Or it could have been like Ice Beam or something else. All right, doesn't matter. For the sake of the video, I just put 4 moves. All right, now you decided that, you know, with an Airstream on, maybe something like, you know, and your own Thundurus or Zapdos. Let's just put Zapdos on our team, you know, just for the sake of it. You click Airstream, and now our Kyogre is fast, and we specifically wanted a speed tier where we can outspeed an opposing Thundurus by 1, all right? And that speed tier was 120, right? Because 120 times 1.5 is 180, which outspeeds Thundurus by 1 point, okay? Then the Assault Vest, you said, you know what, Kyogre is very bulky as it is, with base 140 special defense. You know, how much more special defense do I need with the Assault Vest? The answer is not a whole lot. All right, this thing tanks everything with, especially when you have Grimmsnarl on Light Screen, it just doesn't die. So all you need is not just 1 point. I would keep it at 1 point if I wanted, but it's just not optimal, because remember, with the Assault Vest, you get 1.5 as a boost, and you don't want an odd number here. You always want an even number, just so that you get a whole number stat when you do the 1.5 multiplier, and then it just comes out to a nice number, rather than a decimal if you had an odd number here, which then just gets rounded down, right? Because in Pokemon, stats round down, they never round up. So we go to 12, and now we have the minimum even number that we need for our Assault Vest. And now we look at our remaining EVs. We have 420 EVs left to spend, And you might say, all right, I just want to dump all this into my attack stat. Let's go into our third EV bump here, 236 special attack. And then, you know, you might say, I want to optimize my HP value to 191, just in case, you know, max hailstorm or max rockfall, you know, just to bring out the sand and the hail. I want to minimize the amount of weather damage that Kyogre takes. So I put the stat to 191. And again, if you do the math on the calculator, 191 divided by 16, 11.9. So you're only taking 11.9 damage per turn from sand and hail chip. And then you have 60 defense EV, so you just dump it in like this, all right? And you say, you know what, this is a pretty good Kyogre spread. I'm ready to go. And you might be. And then you realize, then you face the Rillaboom, and then it clicked Grassy Glide, and it still killed you. And you might say, what? How did I just die to Rillaboom? I had a bulky Kyogre spread. So then, after playing that match on Showdown or on Ladder, you went back into the damage calculator and you see how, in fact, Rillaboom killed you. And then this is where we have to adjust the spreads. Maybe take a little bit off of that special attack stat and invest into our bulk. So this way we can guarantee the survival and then have our Kyogre live to see another day. So let's take a look at the damage calc. So once again, I'm going to click Import Export. I'm going to copy the spread here. And once again, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom. And I'm just going to Control V it, and there's my Kyogre spread. And I'm just going to call this Series 12 Kyogre Damage Calc video, just so that I know I can remove this later. Oh, I misspelled it. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's our Ogre, and now oh, I don't want that. We clicked. I think we did, right? Okay, we good. And now we go to Kyogre here. And then we find the spread that we want. All right, the Kyogre damage calc video, and there's our EVs for our Kyogre, all nice and hunky-dory. Then I go to Rillaboom, all right, and I want to see how it does against Miracle Seed first. Okay, so let's just go to custom set here, because I already have a Rillaboom spread with Adamant 252, Miracle Seed, Grassy Glide. All right, we'll ignore Wood Hammer for a second, but let's say Grassy Glide. And I see why I died, because it literally has a 106% chance to KO me, right? Literally. Okay, now what if I intimidate this? Would that have made a difference? Or what if I click Reflect? Let's take a look. If I intimidate it, it does make a difference, okay? 85, so that's nice. And if I click Reflect, same idea. Cool. Okay, Wood Hammer is still a factor, but we'll get to that in a second. Now, you might say, well, now what can I do? Do I really need all of this special attack set? The answer is no. Can I live Grassy Glide without, you know, maximum special attack? The answer is yes, you can. And now there's a calc, you know, because not all Rillabooms have the Miracle Seed. So we'll take a look at that in a second. But let's say most Rillabooms now are, not most, but a fair majority, they're running Assault Vest, right, rather than the Miracle Seed. Are they running Miracle Seed? Yes, they are. But you know, if we just gotta Reflect off and intimidate, it's fine, right? And then you -1 just, and now you even live Wood Hammer, right? So with Reflect and Intimidate, you now live Rillaboom stuff. So then, what else can I do? You know, what if what if I didn't have any of those things and the Rillaboom had something like an Assault Vest, right? So let's take a look at that. We'll just put it as none. Actually, we'll just put Assault Vest here. Okay, so I still die to Grassy Glide. Now I still want to live this, right? 31% to the not even the strongest Rillaboom is a problem. I want to, you know, try and survive this, right? So now what can I do here? So let's take away a little bit from this special attack set and let's put it into our bulk. But I still want to keep the defense mark. Well, let's add it to HP. Let's see if this makes a difference. And then I'll show you one where we add it into defense, but still keep the HP stat, right? And let's see which one you like more. Okay, so let's see as I up the HP EVs like this. Okay. All right, I'm getting close. I'm still at 12.5%. All right. Getting there. And there it is, right? So Grassy Glide from Assault Vest 252 Rillaboom, you know, I guarantee live, and you know, that's nice. And if you look, all right, now let's take a look how much did I have to drop for that. Looks like about 80, right? Which is actually very convenient because I'm still at the second EV bump for special attack. Now I go to 204, and if this looks familiar, it should, because this is Pengi's Kyogre spread, right? And this is where it comes from, right? The speed tier just outspeeds Thundurus at +1. You have the nice even number for the Assault Vest. You still have the EV bump and the special attack stat. And then you have this leftover bulk where now you can survive a 252 Rillaboom, Grassy Glide, Assault Vest, right? So that's the calc for Kyogre, right? And then you might say, well, what if I wanted to go back to my optimized HP value, right, with a 191? Is that possible, right? And then I can take and add 80 EVs here into defense. Will that make a difference? Well, let's take a look. So let's go to 124, okay, and then we go to 140, all right? Do I need this much? And it's actually an even better calc, right? Because now what I can do is, you know, I still have some leftover EVs where now, okay, maybe I don't need all this defense. Maybe I can take some out and put, you know, either more in special defense or maybe have a stronger special attacking stat. So it's up to you, but let's take a look. How much more can I drop this where I can still live? Okay, well, I think that was it, right? 128, let me see. 124. Okay, so I have at 124. Okay, so this is as much as I can go. If I drop it any further, it's a 6.3, which is still okay. But now look at this. So 124, and now I still have 16 EVs left over. So what I can do is I can add this to special attack, and now I still have a little bit more stronger of a Kyogre in terms of how much damage it can do. Right now, again, this is optional. This is like, you know, 16 EVs. But again, I'm just trying to prove a point that, you know, same calc, but you have a little bit more EVs to work with, and then you can dump that more into your special attacking stat and still do a little bit more damage while still living the calc that you wanted to survive, right? So that's basically what I was going at here. All right. So again, if you want to check other stuff like, you know, Thundurus, Regieleki, or Zacian, we can do that too. First of all, let's take a look at Regieleki. Let's look at, you know, a standard Regieleki, you know, maybe not a magnet. Okay, we can leave it at magnet. So Thunderbolt, again, a lot of damage. You know, if it Dynamaxes, 25% chance to OHKO, but then you remember, oh, I have Light Screen, and then I kind of live this, right? And again, I'm not even Dynamax, so that's still okay. And then if you are Dynamax, this doesn't even do that much. I can, at this point, even add like a Life Orb to it. And if you take a look at Life Orb, Thunderbolt, again, just even then, it's just not doing much. This Ogre just doesn't die. All right, so let's take that away. Let's take a look at something like Zacian Play Rough. All right, Zacian stuff. So standard Zacian. Again, even the Play Rough just doesn't do much. Like, I can even make this Adamant. All right, even Adamant, again, just 91% at max. This Ogre is very, very, very bulky. And again, this is all about the damage calc, right? What if I had that 60 defense? I think it still lives either way. Yeah, it does. It barely lives, but the main thing was the Rillaboom calc, right? So it does live the Assault Vest Rillaboom. Now, if you wanted to live the Miracle Seed one, you had to have the Reflect and Intimidate going for you. Otherwise, you just get one shot, as we established in the beginning of the video. All right, so that's it. Again, hopefully this video opened your eyes a little bit as to how you might want to use the damage calculator website to help you live certain things. I just wanted to give 2 examples. I didn't want it to give more than that. You know, the video would probably just get too long for the point that I was trying to make. But again, all this stuff that we do in terms of, like, you know, optimizing EVs and damage calcs and stuff, this is all done in one-on-one coaching with me on the channel. That is a tier 3 sub. Many of you have done it already, which is great. You know, thankfully, I've been able to help a lot of people with their team building process. So if you are someone that's also interested in stuff like this, check out the video description. We have the link for a tier 3 team building, you know, perk to the channel. So definitely take a look at that if you're interested. But again, we're closing out June. We'll get 5 more rental teams good to go for July soon. I just want to try out a couple more teams on ladder. But again, we'll be back with another Series 12 video in the next video, guys. Have a good one.